Hey guys, it's Sam, and welcome back to Likewise. We are kicking off the month of August with yet again some solo minisodes, and I'm so excited for my topic this week. I decided to kind of brainstorm a little bit around our theme for August, which is authentic, and kind of like come up with some of my favorite concepts that I thought related. And I came up with 4 topic ideas that I put on my Instagram story and got to like watch everybody vote on. And it was so fun to watch the poll results change so much throughout the day. Right away, the votes were really leaning towards one, and then it shifted so much. And I thought that the one that was leading for most of the day was going to win. And then out of nowhere, this one came and took it down. So this week, my Minisode topic is Your Present Makes Your Future, and all of my topics were pretty similar. So the one following close behind to that was True Self, is what I called it. And then the other 2 topics were Always Learning and the Value of Self-Respect. So yeah, these were all just things that came to my mind when I was thinking about our August theme, which, like I said, is authentic. We think it's kind of funny that so many of our monthly themes we like get a little what's the word for it? Oh my gosh, I can't even think about it. Oh, alliteration. Like I think we've actually only done it with March and then now August, but like authentic August, like March Madness or whatever. It's just so fun that way, and it's like sometimes it's the first thing that comes to mind, but then you think of other ideas and you still just like it the most because it just sounds so like marketable and cute. Um but yeah, we have so many great episodes planned for this month, and they're all so on theme. Sometimes I feel like we set a theme and then we kind of stray from it, even though our episodes we think relate. But this month they really do relate. If you want to see exactly what they all are, go over to our Instagram at likewise_pod. We always post the theme and schedule at the beginning of the month, and so that is there. It's our most recent post, so easy to find. And then, in addition to checking us out on social media, just make sure you're following us on whatever streaming platform you listen on to not miss an episode. We have so many like fun new things happening. We have 2 author interviews this month, and then some other really great topics that just feel a lot more personal than our last few months. So that's really exciting, and it just feels, well, more authentic than ever. So please stick around. We would love to have you. And I regret to inform you, if you usually listen to our minis, you know at the beginning we like to talk about what we're drinking because we usually try to have like a fun bev or whatever. I'm having water today, and my throat actually is feeling a little irritated. I think it's just like allergies and weather. But I'm gonna be needing that water a lot. But usually I have a poppy. I just had one with dinner earlier tonight, so no poppy for me today. But the one I did have was a raspberry rose, so super fun. Your present makes your future. When I thought of this topic, I kind of pulled it from an episode from a few years ago, which is also where we pulled our theme from. One of our favorite episodes ever was called Living an Authentic Life, and it's either from 2020 or 2021. And so I bet so much of what I said back then in that episode just doesn't resonate with me anymore. Maybe it will. But that's just the fun of having a podcast and getting to listen back on your old conversations. Just you get to see the like all the growth you've had over the years and reflect on it and see like, wow, maybe I wasn't my true self then, and I am now, or whatever. It's just so fun to go back and listen sometimes, as cringy as it is at the same time. And I know when we started planning this month, like I went back and I started listening to that old episode and like taking some notes, because originally we were gonna just do like we're gonna go back and do that theme again and just see how different we think about it now. And then we decided to do minis instead of a full episode for the first week, and so kind of switched gears a little bit. But this was one of the things that we talked about in that episode, just the idea that your present makes your future. We talked about that for a while, and that is one of the things from that I was like, no, I do still really resonate with that and like that mindset. And so I want to talk about it more. I'm so glad that so many of you wanted to hear about it too. I feel bad. I posted it on my personal Instagram story, which was like nice because so many of my friends that don't follow the podcast were interacting, and it just, like, gave me hope that maybe they would, like, come listen to it or whatever. But I'm so sorry for not also posting the poll on the Likewise story. I feel like I should have done that. But yes, your present makes your future. I just really like this mindset when it comes to trying to live a more authentic life because I feel like it's so true. It's almost one of those underrated pieces of advice that you don't hear enough. Um, and when I think about it, I just think about how there's so much pressure to be forward thinking with your future and with what you want to do, who you want to be, basically just to have all of that figured out. And Issa and I have both in the past talked about how we spend a lot of time thinking about our past and our future, individually and together. But we don't spend enough time in the present. So I think this also kind of relates to one of our recent episodes on how to live in the present and enjoy the present moment, all those things. When you think so much about both your past and your future, you're not thinking about your present and you're just not actively showing up in your present. And the unfortunate thing is, like, you have to show up in your present to build for your future. But let's talk a little bit about why that's so hard to do and maybe some of my ideas for how to make this easier to do and all of those good things. So, I know for me and many of people, it's not easy to prioritize yourself and your goals sometimes, just especially if they don't align with your current line of work, your current work schedule, or your schedule with other responsibilities, just everything in your life. If what you like, if you're someone who knows like a goal you have or something you want to do, but it's like so not in alignment with the other like more steady consistent things in your life, it is a little hard to go after that because you don't want to leave the stability of the other things you have going for you. Like maybe you want to explore turning your hobby or your craft or whatever into a business and your full-time job, but it's not something you've pursued enough to already be making money off of, and so you just have to do it in your free time outside of your regular full-time job. Or you, on top of having a full-time job, have a family to prioritize and your own just like self-care and everything to prioritize, just because there's so much to life that sometimes all these interests in your actual real goals and the things you would want for your future have to be put on the back burner because you have to prioritize being steady and stable and supporting yourself in the present. So it's a really hard battle between what you need for your present and what you also need to be doing in your present to set up your future. And it's very hard and it's very not full-time job friendly. Like that is the hard part about it. Um or just like maybe it is the full-time job you want. Being able to do the necessary schooling for it is just not attainable. And so that's like a barrier to entry there, and that's so difficult. So I'm thinking of it more from my personal perspective, which is just like having so many hobbies, having so many other career goals outside of my regular full time job that I want to pursue, but like just don't have the capacity to pursue. Someone told me the other day, they said that they are time poor, and that just like, I'm stealing that. And that's so me. Like having so many things you want to do and not being able to do all of them or not being able to do all of them fully because there's other things that more immediately need your attention and efforts and just for you to prioritize those things first. Which is so okay. Obviously, I don't want you to stop prioritizing the things that need to be priority in your life. Um, but it's always good to be thinking about like what is that ideal future self that I envision, who is my future, what is my future, what would I rather be doing right now if it's not this. That's something that I think we should all be asking ourselves so often because it could always be changing. Like, just like I said earlier, that what I would have said about this topic 3-4 years ago is probably so different than what I'm saying from it now because I had different goals and ambitions then. I never wanted to write and publish books back then. I wouldn't say never, like I did like poetry back then, but I had never really thought about publishing. And now my whole brain is just always thinking about publishing and it's something I really want to do. So I think there's always so much changing, and it could be over years, it could be over months, weeks, days, whatever. Like, you could be dreaming of one thing 3 months ago, and then now you're here and you don't want that thing anymore and you want something else. That's totally normal and totally okay. Um, so yeah, what are some of these ways we can implement things into our day-to-day to get closer to this ideal future self? My first thing is that we need to be letting go of the idea of being able to do everything. We get so stuck when we put too much on our plate. Like, it could lead to burnout, which I've done another minisode on, and also just doing too many things to where you're giving so little of yourself to each thing versus dedicating more effort to only a few things, which definitely would help on the burnout front. But, um, like I said, I'm kind of like a hobby collector. I have so many little hobbies and things, and not all of them. I do not want to turn all of them into businesses, but every time something starts to interest me, I'm like plagued with the idea of like, oh, this could be a business. Or like, I have this thing where it's like all of my fun hobbies could come together. They could be part of the same business and just be little facets of it. Um, but when you do so many things and start to offer yourself up in so many different spaces, you do run out of that time to where you're not able to give all of yourself to each thing. So sometimes it's better to focus on one thing at a time and give everything you can to those few things, because you have better chances of growing one thing by giving it your all than growing 5 things that you're spreading yourself out between all 5 of those things. Um, I think that's why, especially in the creative space and making content and starting a business and everything, it's why everyone says it's so important to find your niche, because that's going to direct you right to the like ideal audience for you. You're going to find your ideal customer, your ideal audience if you really niche down. And that's something that took Issa and I a long time to do, and we still haven't even fully done it, but you do really sometimes forget how important it is to like find your target audience, find your niche topics, your like genre, anything, to just get yourself in the right place and really be growing what you're doing in the right place for it to have a successful future. And not just a successful future, because I don't mean that from one stance. Like, I mean like your personal definition of success. When I say successful future, I mean like achieving that ideal future, the future you want, not successful to someone else's terms. Like, we're not always going to be happy just if what we did made us money. It's great, and that is going to add so much to our happiness. I do think money can very much buy happiness. But like, if your business that you're trying to grow is only successful by means of it not being exactly what you wanted for it, and you're unhappy operating it because it's not what you originally envisioned for it, but seeing it through and the way it started to grow is the only way you're going to guarantee you're still going to make money, like, sometimes it's better to let it go or pivot, make less money doing what you really care about with it. That's a random little tangent that I did not need to go on. But yes, giving more of yourself to fewer things versus giving so little of yourself to so many things. I am terrible with this. I pick up so many things to be doing. I offer myself up in so many places that sometimes I know I can't follow through on. But like, I love a deadline. I love a project, so I'm always picking something up to do. And it's tough because it really just does come down to how much you want to have on your plate versus how much you can actually handle having on your plate. And like I said, I'm a busy bee. I am always trying to do absolutely everything, but it does lead to me never actually finishing a project because I'm doing too many at once. And that is a situation I've been in for like years. So obviously, I think you should identify a type of system that would work best for you, because we're all gonna have different like plate different plate sizes. I'm trying to like think of how I want to phrase that, but like we all have different capacities, right? So your friend's system of exploring these things is not going to work for you, or if it does, great. But in my opinion, I think the easiest place to start is just to try dedicating specific time to each of your projects or interests so that you aren't trying to do it all at once, whatever that means to you. Whether that's like however many hours in a week, days, specific days of the week, separating your hobbies out into weeks of a month, whatever works for you. So then, my next tip kind of with this is to build a community in all the realms of your different interests. That way you have support and motivation. There's really nothing better than the community connection within your niches, within your like community you want to be a part of, because social connections really do keep us going. If you don't surround yourself with anybody who understands what it is that you want to be doing and the community you want to be a part of, then you're going to have a really hard time getting there, because you're not going to ever be speaking to the people who want what you're doing. All right, shifting gears to the next thing to implement. Another little mindset shift. I want us all to start trying to think intentionally about what we're doing and where we're going. Because if you're not content with where you're at, or even if you think you are content with where you're at, we should all just ask ourselves all the time, where do I want to be? What is it I really want? I know I kind of talked about that earlier, but if you can't come up with an answer, that's totally okay too. Or if it changes every week, month, year, whatever. I, for one, do not have it figured out for myself, and I've been in a revolving I don't know phase for a while, and that is completely normal and okay. I really do think that not knowing exactly what you want to do is something that you could celebrate, because it means you're open to experiences and trying different things until you are able to land on what is right for you. What's right for you, not what's right for everybody around you, what's right for you and the goals you have. Kind of along that same line, with things that are right for you, is to let go of the idea that it is selfish to dedicate time to your hobbies. Because really, at the end of the day, even if you're not pursuing a hobby for a business, it's so healthy for your like mental and physical health to give time to your hobbies. Like, it's like a self-care need. But I'm not saying that all time spent on these things is not selfish, because sometimes there is such a thing as too much time, and you need to make sure you're still prioritizing the relationships in your life. The last thing you want to do is decenter some of the most important relationships in your life. It's never fun to grow apart from people because you're putting material things above them or something, or you're just never making time for them. There was some really great advice that I wanted to apply to this that an author friend of ours will be sharing in next week's episode, but since that would be a spoiler, I won't say exactly what she said, but the gist of it is that you can't get to a future stage of your project without finishing the present stage. Like, you really can't finish something if you don't start, type of thing. That really resonated with me, because so much of what we think our future goals and dreams are is that we think we will never achieve them, but we can achieve them if we start making an effort to grow and make strides towards our goals. So if all you're going to do is think about something, yeah, it probably won't just fall into your lap. But if you start writing down these ideas, finding ways to start trying things, or putting your goals into practice, you'll be actively getting closer to that end result that you want. And I don't want to say it like it's easy, like you just have to try and it'll happen, because that's not true. It is hard. Just like how we've talked about how living in the present can be really hard, it is hard to be able to go full force after your future and what you want. There's all kinds of obstacles and challenges stopping us from so many of the things we would want to be doing, but you'll never know if you never try, and your dreams are your dreams for a reason. I see threads all the time saying, like, you feel called to be doing your dreams for a reason. There's a future you that is already there. And I love that. That is everything I have planned for this minisode. I would love to talk about this topic so much more, but I don't want to become a revolving door and just be spitting the same thing at you for way longer. And I love a shorty little episode. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope everyone was able to take something from this, or I was at least able to help motivate you, gas you up. I'm not the perfect person to give advice, but I just hope that speaking from my experience and sharing my thoughts was relatable or at least validating for you or for someone. So yeah, thanks again so much for listening, and I'll see you on Instagram and in next week's episode. Bye!